Hello, welcome to Maison Otaku. Come in, have a seat.
I'm Justin,
And I'm Mike.
and it's a little bit of a different thing. Mike and I have sat down to enjoy some dinner, and just to kind of let you in on candid conversation that we were having just today.
But not to let you in on our delicious steak.
Yes. See, we are men who are drinking Vernors and eating red meat.
Yes.
If you aren't doing the same thing, well, watch more Harlock.
Yep.
It'll lead to the same situation.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. Tell us again the cut we got here tonight, Mike.
Yeah, I was I'm broke as shit. So I decided I'll buy the cheapest steak they have. Which, as it turns out, is a chuck eye. Surprisingly enough, freaking tender.
Yeah, turned out well. Oddly enough, broiled in his toaster oven. So,
That's the burgers.
burgers roll in the toaster.
Yeah,
That's
we got
right, these
burgers
are pan
too.
seared.
Yeah, these
sorry,
are.
Sorry.
Yeah, these are butter pan seared with a tiny bit of coarse garlic.
And oddly enough, this is something that most folks wouldn't guess about Mike and I. We both love to cook.
Well, I think they guessed that about me.
Well, that just shows you love to eat. That doesn't necessarily mean that you like to cook yourself. I mean, there are tons of fat people, and most of them got that way on McDonald's and Twinkies.
Yeah, if you're gonna get fat, at least do it right, folks.
Red meat.
It's like one of the few bits of those weird overweight fan art drawings I ever saw. It's Fat Erden Schooled both going, "Oh, I wish Bell Dandy didn't cook so well or so much," which in real life is probably what would happen.
Yeah.
Because Bell Dandy doesn't know what calories are.
No. But at the same time, she's always cooking like 3 billion Japanese thing. It's like, how many different ways can you say? Yeah, can you say I found this fish and cut its head off?
Candid conversation.
Well, that's exactly what we're having. And this is not to run down Japanese culture as a whole. It's just, goddamn it, you need more steak and less fish and less headless fish.
Well, they do have steak, but it all has way too much fat and costs 10 times what it should.
Well, not too much fat. I mean, a nice marbled beef is excellent.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
That's why Delmonico's my favorite cut.
I would say your standard Kobe beef is good, but there's some of their like specialty beef that just goes way overboard with that.
I can agree with you there. It's actually kind of funny because this past Thursday at our weekly game night, we actually had a conversation going of, the would you rathers, and one of the would you rathers was whose cooking would you be more afraid of, and it was Erd versus Washue's.
Yeah, which then turned into, okay, fine. How about Erd versus Lum?
And the argument is very simply, for me, Lum, because not only does Lum not know how to cook, does not know what cooking utensils are used for. I mean, we've seen her just stacking ingredients into a mountain and slapping it with a spatula, and completely thrilled. This is exactly what she's going for. No confusion whatsoever. And not only is it going to be horrible, not only is it going to be poisonous, not only is it going to make you breathe fire because Oni food is so spicy, but she's going to electrocute the crap out of you if you don't like it.
Yep. Whereas she may frown, but Erd's quite content with having her food flushed down the toilet.
Yeah.
Because her decided that one day she likes to cook. Although, recently, in between then and now, I got another one. Okay. Deathmatch. That thing Erd cooked or the rotten lobster from Bebop?
The thing Erd cooked because it was potentially sentient.
Well, so was the rotten lobster.
Now, the rotten lobster wasn't potentially sentient. It wasn't potentially sentient. It was simply alive. Vaguely. I mean, mutated, I suppose, is a more correct term.
Yeah.
It's not as if Bebop does a very good job of explaining its science fiction elements.
No, it doesn't. Granted, that's part of what we like about it sometimes, but...
Yeah. Bebop is so traditionally a space western that it loves the because space explanation. Why are there jump gates to get from planetary system to planetary system? Because it's a spacefaring age.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how did they get there? Because it's it's hundreds of years in the future, and of course they'd figure that out.
Yeah.
Well, how do they work? Because they're spaceships. Don't stop asking. Is it cool?
In fact, if anything, one of their tiny bits of putting anything into that raises more questions than answered, because you have these old timers talking about, oh yeah, I dug that gate all those years ago, and they're talking about, breaking holes through the very fabric of space-time like they were fucking digging a mine.
Right. And
we never get any more information. It's like, okay, was a freaking warp drive invented by hillbillies?
It could have been.
Yeah, it'd make about as much sense as anything else on this show. Love it, though, we do.
Yeah, I absolutely adore the show. I think that's one thing that is actually getting lost a little bit right now. There is a very heavy effort right now, as I see it, to introduce more hard science fiction into sci-fi anime that's very small stage. And we can blame Haruhi Suzumiya for that. But it doesn't necessarily lead itself to interesting characters and scenarios.
Well, honestly, I think a lot of that's down to they're injecting hard sci-fi into a story type that never particularly asked for it more often than not. See Haruhi Suzumiya. I mean, whether or not you like that show, or whether or not you think it worked, you can't deny that there's the most polite way to put it is juxtaposition. I mean, it's down to no one's making Legend of the Galactic Heroes anymore.
No, there's space opera and the space western are both set aside. They're entirely set aside.
The last thing we had was Space Dandy? Although, I did actually enjoy Planet ES.
Planets was...
Or Planet... I've heard a couple different pronunciations.
Planets was interesting, but that was truly hard sci-fi rather than it certainly wasn't an epic story.
Yeah, it wasn't a space opera. It was like the opposite of a space opera.
Quite frankly,
it's Alien minus the alien.
Yeah, quite frankly, it was, if anything, was closer in execution to Patlabor.
Good.
Which, that's not to take it, that's actually a positive. Mm-hmm. Being compared to Patlabor is a positive, not a negative.
Yeah, basically just replace the giant robots with spaceships and, pretty much. That'd be a neat crossover.
Yeah. I kind of gotta wonder why there haven't been more, Bandai could be rocking the crossover all day long and nobody would, if Sunrise all of a sudden said we're doing, the Laugh Olympics, but with Cowboy Bebop, Wolf's Rain, well, technically that's Wolf's Rain is Studio Bones, but that's the guy that left Sunrise. But I think that'd be hysterical. I mean, just imagine Jet Black in the javelin throw.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, every time they try something like that, it's absolutely awful. Like the SD Macross Frontier side series.
Yes, but every time they try something like that, it can also end up like Gundam Wacky Races.
Yes, but they haven't done that since the early 90s. Or they haven't done it right since the early 90s.
Yeah, because everybody's so far up their own ass.
Yes.
Thank you, Anno. In sign language, this is how you say Hideki Anno.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie. I don't speak American Sign Language. And this is how you say Hideaki. Which also brings us to the bringing back FLCL.
Like, it's kind of one of those things where you look at it like, I mean, regardless of whether or not you liked it, why?
Yeah, satisfying conclusion, brief series, said everything it had to say, said everything the creator wanted to say. It's done.
Yep.
We want more. It's finished.
Yep.
It's like, how many of you? Yeah, how many of you motherfuckers wanted Hawkeye's and the further adventures of Hawkeye after you read the last of the Mohicans?
Or speaking of Hawkeye, like, yes, let's have a MASH follow-up series after the Korean War.
Yeah. But because all the rest of the actors have some dignity, let's make it about Klinger.
No, I don't even think Jamie Farr would have gone for that.
He did. It was called After MASH.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
You don't know about? Okay, seriously.
Okay. I'm gonna get educated this time.
Okay, so first off, the first attempt at a MASH spin-off was actually Trapper John MD. So Trapper John got his own spin-off series that didn't last. After MASH wrapped, they did a series focusing on Colonel Potter as a country doctor who hires Klinger and Sung Lee because they're experiencing racial prejudice in Toledo, so Klinger has to move to Hannibal, Missouri.
I have to admit, I've heard worse ideas.
But it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, none of the clever writing stuff, because
that's the problem. It's like that premise anyway, I'd be willing to buy, but yeah, it's like if you don't put the proper writing to it.
Yeah, and to say nothing of, really, prejudice against Korean chicks in Toledo?
Or Lebanese.
Yeah.
Toledo is kind of Little Lebanon.
It is. It seriously is. Okay, you have no idea how many Lebanese people there are in northern Ohio. And you want a rundown of the list? Okay, Jamie Farr.
Casey
Kasem, and the Rahal family, Bobby and Graham Rahal, the IndyCar drivers. All Lebanese, all Ohioans. And me!
Yeah.
Like, E-list Lebanese Ohioan, but I'm still one of them.
Yes.
Someday, I truly aspire to be as well known and well regarded as Jamie Farr. Maybe I just need more of a nose.
Yeah.
Mine goes this way, not this way. So.
Yeah. You need my mighty Russian snage.
Well, yeah, but the problem is if I go for your mighty Russian snaz, I also get your mighty Russian back hair.
My back's not that hairy.
Give it time.
You're
going to be 50 years old and you won't need a wool sweater in the winter.
To be fair, I mean, you're kind of confusing me with Jason here. Like, yes, the sun is so hot today that we recommend a level 5 or Robin Williams level of hairiness. Seriously. Oh yeah, so that's why remaking series that ended well is a dumb idea.
Yes. Because After MASH was terrible.
Well, it's like,
but it was still a thing.
Well, it's like, honestly, if you're going to do a follow-up to MASH, it should just be like a made-for-TV movie. That's really the only format it would work in.
Right, and again, it comes down to satisfying conclusion. Yeah. If you have a satisfying conclusion, there is no reason to revisit the story.
Yep.
There's, and they all lived happily ever after. Really? Yes. Leave them alone.
Or even in cases where I would have liked to see things continue, like one, I know Justin disagrees with me on this, but one I always would have liked to see a second season of was Outlaw Star, just because I really liked how the characters had developed at the end of the series, but I don't want them to make a follow-up to it. If they had made a follow-up series in like 1999 or so, cool, let's watch that. In 2017, it would be garbage.
In 2017, you couldn't assemble enough of the original staff to get it right.
Well, that's the thing. You couldn't assemble enough of the original staff. Whoever you hire isn't going to know what they're doing. And no one knows how to do anything. I'm not going to say anime never knew how to do what Outlaw Star did, but most producers and writers nowadays freaking don't.
I'd say my biggest concern on it would probably be that Outlaw Star was such a rollicking time. It was so completely absorbed in this weird, goofy madcap. Sometimes we're intimate and we're intimate and emotional. Sometimes we're absurd and lecherous. It was an all things series, and all the characters could do all the things. You had characters that had all the moments. This character is this character is this character. Character as type, as archetype, and acknowledging, wait a second, we didn't get this archetype in there, is a problem. It is handcuffing writers.
Although, don't get me wrong, you're not even remotely wrong about that. In fact, I wholeheartedly agree. But we kind of missed the most blatant example of why a follow-up to Outlaw Star would be a terrible idea, and that's Space Guardian Angel Links.
Well, that's a spin-off, not a follow-up.
But it's still a show in the same universe that came after it and was freaking awful.
Absolutely, badass space gun bunny and massive dinosaur guy who's clearly too old for this shit should have been awesome.
Well, like we said in our episode when we talked about it. So wait, it's gonna be Lethal Weapon, but in space and with hot chicks? No. Not even close to that. Which is what they should have. That kind of story would go great in the Outlaw Star universe. Instead, they tried to Evangelion it.
Right. But we really want to concentrate on how tragic and and unfortunate this scenario would be. Why? Why can't we just concentrate on what sort of insane laser guns they'd carry? I want insane laser guns, not this nonsense. I did want the steak. Yeah, that was good steak.
Good steak.
Well done, Mike.
Thank you.
I think we should head out, get some ice cream.
Yeah.
Call this one a wrap.
Nope.
Thanks for sitting in on dinner with us. We hope you also enjoyed something delicious to eat. Enjoyed the repetition. This was to give you an idea as to what happens when we don't have a topic.
Yes. Yeah, this is just... Well, really, I was just invited him over to do some tests. He's like, no, wait, let's film our stupid conversations.
Yes.
So, there you are. This is part of the process.
Yeah, a little peek behind the scenes. And we promise, this isn't just padding out the channel until we get the finished episodes done.
So, from all of us here at Maison Otaku, this is Mike.
And Justin saying, enjoy what you watch.
Share what you enjoy. And grab some steak.
Red meat.